Wonderful. So, welcome everybody to our first annual meeting for the Army of Youth. We are here because the purpose of this is kind of to lay a foundation of the Army of Youth, what we're doing, where we're going, and during our annual meetings we're going to be reviewing the past year to see what happened, and we're going to be casting vision for the future and see what are the major things that we need to accomplish together. And this is the first meeting that we've had, or the annual one, and from here we're going to set the goals. We're going to have an annual, hold on, this marker doesn't work very good. This one's kind of bright. I'm gonna have annual month. No, we're gonna have quarterly. And then we're gonna have monthly and weekly. So these are the goals we're going to have, so that the meetings, so that we can stay in a line. At our quarterly goals, we're going to check to make sure we're on task to meet our annuals. The monthly, we're going to make sure that we are on task to meet our quarterly, and weekly we'll be able to see if we're able to reach our monthly. And we're all going to be working together towards a common goal. We're going to kind of set that goal here today. But before we begin, let's start with a word of prayer. Would someone like to offer prayer for us?
I will.
Thank you. Can you say it loud?
Yeah. Dear Lord, thank you so much for the beautiful day that you gave to us, all the days that you have given us. And I pray, Lord, that the days that we put before us, that we could better make use of the day and our time, and be able to be more effective amongst your people. Please give us willing hearts and minds to do the work that you need done, and help us to glorify your name, lift you up, so that people could see and desire to walk with you. We love you, Lord. Please be with us always. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Praise the Lord. Tina, are you in the publishing chat by any chance?
Publishing chat?
No, probably not. Okay, I was thinking if we can send the meeting minutes to folks, but I'm gonna add you here, Tina.
So you want me to call Morgan on the telephone?
No, don't be calling her. Text her. Wait, I don't want that.
So this is where I should put the...
Yeah, the link to Notion, and make sure it's where anyone with a link can view it. Alright, so what we want to do is, step number 1 is to just revisit our ministry culture and our vision of why we're here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over to Notion, and for those who are viewing on Zoom, I'm going to share my screen so that you can see this as well.
Where are you going in Notion?
I'm going to our vision and mission.
What's it called?
Is there a way to enlarge the screen on Zoom?
I don't understand what you mean.
Kim wants to enlarge the screen.
Yeah, you pinch and zoom.
Oh, she's on a phone.
Yep, you pinch and zoom. There you go.
AOY mission vision statement.
Yes, AOY mission and vision statement. All right. Hopefully you all have been able to. You've all seen this before. Is there anybody who's not able to view this?
I can't. It doesn't look like it's coming up. No.
You might have to. Orion, are you able to see it? Alright, do you have Messenger on your phone? What was that?
Okay, I got it.
Oh, okay. Can I get a volunteer to read our vision statement?
So
Welcome.
we're doing down here instead of up there.
Yeah, we're recording it. We have no recording up there.
Oh, okay.
Alright.
And anyone on Zoom is able to volunteer too. Brunel, would you like to read for us?
Just the person missing?
Just what's under our vision.
Okay. To help every young person identify and develop their unique talents and dedicate them to the Lord's service. We envision a world where never again must the young person live an aimless life. This is a time when all young people know their true purpose and learn and lead meaningful lives in the Lord's service.
Yes. That is absolutely. That's why we're here. And our mission, we're kind of it's under development, but it's along the lines. Some of this needs to be developed a little bit, but that's not what we're doing here. It's kind of like our mission is to inspire and rightly train an army of youth to dedicate their lives at Christ's service and engage in finishing the work of redemption before the soon coming of Jesus. I'm going to turn off these sounds when people join. Carmen, is there a way that people can see your screen so as they read it?
See my screen?
Yeah, see your screen. Because it doesn't look like people will be able to see this. It's good. Great. Welcome. Glad you can join us, sister. So, we've got, just as people are coming in, we have some of the people that are here. We have Jackie from California. We got Jolene on here from Lewiston, Kim from South Africa, Renelle from Canada, and these are all the people you want to make sure that are in the meeting minutes. And then everyone in the room is, for those on Zoom, we have Tina here, Kathy, myself, Orion, Mom, Kamran, and Sister Diana. So these are what we have. And then Morgan was trying to join on Zoom. Did you get all that, Tina? Are you able to access it on, can you get on Zoom so that you can see some of the people there?
it on Zoom.
I think this should work.
Alright, so we're just going over our vision, our mission, and now we want to share some of the things that shape us over here. There are some of the stuff that we are at war with. We're going to war against young people living aimless lives. We see that as a huge problem that exists in this world, is just aimlessness and people not knowing their purpose and why they're here. And so we want to help people to find a definite aim. And we're going to put together trainings and programs to be able to help people identify their calling so they can live in their calling and to use their spiritual gifts that God has given to them.
I can't get out of Zoom.
You can't get out of Zoom?
I don't know how to like. It's like full screen now, and it's like.
Double click it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Would someone like to read what our opposition is, what our warfare is that we're going against? It's on the screen, and we need a way for people to see it in here. Carmen, are you able to pull it up on the left screen? Maybe Orion could. Orion, if you grab a second mouse, there's 2 desktops over there. And yeah, you got it.
I don't understand what you got.
That's okay, Orion is. It's 5509. Sorry, we're trying to get the equipment set up. And can you join on Zoom? Thank you, brother. And we don't really have a screen to put over here, so it's kind of hard for you guys to see it. So I think what we're going to do temporarily, as we're still trying to set up the studio, is if you could look at Orion's screen so that you could follow along. We'll use Orion's screen as kind of a projector. (641). I'm glad you're here, Orion. It's really helpful. Nice. Now, I should be sharing my screen.
Yes, you are.
But why isn't it on his? Go in the top right corner, you see the view? Maybe I can stop the share and share it again.
Okay. Yeah, just share.
I did it again. Nope. Huh.
Let's share.
Is everybody else on Zoom able to see me share my screen?
I can.
You can? Are we logged into the same account?
Yes, I can see it.
Well, that's good. Thanks for now.
What if I pull it up on here instead?
Yeah, you can do that. Go right ahead. Oh, there it is. Can you maximize that? There we go. You got it.
Yeah.
Great. So, Kathy, are you able to see our opposition?
No, not yet. Get it up before I move my chair. Now I can see our opposition.
Okay. Great. Kim, would you like to read what our opposition is?
I would indeed. So,
Thank you.
it says, an action in the Lord's army, an aimless life, satanic shyness / comfortable, spiritual gluttony, false education, unconversion, doubt / error / fear, the old and young not working together.
Yes. So these are some of the themes that we're going to be sharing through, or we have been sharing through our content and through our programs and trainings, is just helping people to find something to do in the Lord's army, something to do for Christ. And if anybody has any questions, feel free to share, or if they would like to share something else. Yeah. So this is a valuable resource for people to take a look at when, if you're wanting to know kind of more about what the Army of Youth is doing and how we plan on going about it. This document, our mission and vision statement, it just has a lot outlined of basically the foundations of who we are, where we're going. We want to share. We want to look at, I guess, the next place that we're going is looking at the past year and seeing what things have happened. I don't know why, but I'm really having a hard time here. Really distracted. Would someone like to say another word of prayer for us?
I will.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Father, right now, we thank you that we come together in your name. Lord, any opposition that's coming against us in the name of Jesus. Lord, we ask, Father God, that that our minds would be clear, and Lord, that you put your thoughts in our mind, in our heart, and that you put things together the way you would have it to come together, Lord. Keep us focused and what you would have us to be focused on, Lord. And any distractions or anything that's coming against us, we just ask right now, Father God, that you put a hedge about us, Lord, that the enemy would not be able to come against us. In Jesus' name we ask. Amen.
Amen. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So,
Jesus.
Amen.
So, past year you were saying that we went through what?
Yes, so the past year, we just want to look at a little bit of what's been going on. Within the last year, we've kind of gone through a transition from, there's many people on here as well as on Zoom who's working with us through Walks with God Ministries. That was founded in 2014 and has been a ministry working with young people over these years in different ways. But one thing that I found is that there is a lot more that we can accomplish. One, when we work together, and two, when we have a focus, when we know why we're here, what we're doing, and then we're collectively using our talents for a common bigger goal. And with Walks with God Ministries, it was kind of, we were doing a lot of different things, and by God's grace, we were able to reach about over 150,000 people on YouTube, and that was a blessing. And over half of our audience were 20s or younger, and it's really been a blessing. But what I realized is it was kind of hard to bring people together with Walks with God Ministries. And even the name Army of Youth of itself, it just kind of has like that ring to it where people are like, whoa, I want to be a part of this army. There's young people, there's an army of young people on fire for Christ. Where? I want to meet them. How can I join? And so it just has that galvanizing effect to it. And I really appreciate that. Mm-hmm. So there are some similarities that we are carrying over, but that's why we're kind of starting something different and more focused in our efforts. And it's easier to kind of change the name to be able to do that well. And then pretty much everyone here recognizes too that this past year I've been pastoring the church over at His Remnant Church, and that has been, that's definitely been a blessing, helping out Pastor Smith, trying to, as he was going through a difficult time, he called me in October and he's just asking if I can come over just to assist, and I definitely love my brother, and I wanted to help him out. He wanted me to direct the 3 Angel School of Health and pastor the church in his leave, and I told him I couldn't really commit indefinitely, although we didn't know how long he needed, but I committed to 3 months. And after the 3 months, we saw that he still needed some help, so we were kind of here. So we were still here helping, but he got back. Now that he's here, it's a blessing. I've officially resigned from pastoring. Not that I'm not going to be helping or assisting in the area with contacts, but that's not my main focus or my main responsibility that I am committing to now. And mentioned at the board meeting last week, and also at the all church meeting on Wednesday. So I'm seeking to do less better now. I'm able to relinquish some of the different responsibilities that kind of pull me in different directions. That way we could really do this well and raise up an army of youth to find meaning in their life and identify their talents and find use. I know that there's so many hurting souls that are just wandering and they don't have something better. And I really believe in the local work and being able to support the community here, but I also have a burden of an international burden worldwide to be able to take the gospel to the world and to help young people all over. We have people here in 4 different countries, and we got Kim in South Africa, Rebecca just joined us, welcome, from the Caribbean islands, and Renelle from Canada, and we have people all over the country who's going to be joining us. And already this is an international ministry, an international movement that is taking place. And what we're seeking to do is just, how could we use our unique talents to bring together, to be able to take the gospel further than what we could individually or isolated. So in that past year also, we moved from California over to Idaho, and that was quite the experience. And we're really glad to be here. We love the people here, and I was happy to get out of California, but that's kind of like a major thing that the location of the ministry changed. So what we would like to do is sell a property in California and buy a property that we could be maybe about 30 to 50 minutes outside of town, to be able to have somewhere that has high-speed internet, that we can continue to reach people internationally, but as well as have a place where young people can come and be trained and to do evangelism, to operate like a publishing ministry, that through the publishing work being able, and the medical mission work, to be able to financially support the all the other ministry and endeavors that we do. But we can go into a little bit more detail there. So that's one of the things that we are seeking to do, is establishing a publishing house. Now that's kind of like the past year in review. Our future annual meetings are going to be looking at the past is going to be a little different, but because this is more or less the first year that we're moving forward and we're going in this direction. We're just kind of laying a foundation to see who we are, why we exist, and where we're going. And we could evaluate last year when it comes. And now we want to talk about the on a high level, what are the top 3 to 5 objectives that we want to, specific objectives that we want to accomplish within the next 12 months. And in these 12 months, we are going to use these 3 to 5, I'm gonna call them OKR, and that's an objective key result. And that is just a specific objective. It's a goal. It's an accomplishment. It's something focused. This is very high level for the year, and we're going to break down these 3 to 5 things into quarterly chunks that we can accomplish within 3 months, and we'll break it down to monthly chunks we can accomplish within 30-day chunks, and we will break it down into weekly objectives that we can do in some weekly sprints. And at each weekly meeting, we're going to make sure that we are on track, or what would we need to reevaluate to get to the monthly. And every single one of these meetings, we're going to remember why we're here, what is the reason of our existence, where we're going, briefly, and we're going to see, in light of our annual 3 to 5 OKRs that we're setting today, are we on track to get there? And that's what we're going to checkpoint, and then checkpoint and review. That's what the purpose of these are. I've never really worked like that before. I'm excited. I imagine it is. Just even the thought of that, I could see how it could be so much more grounding and helpful, so that not every which question and suggestion, idea, and an opportunity just kind of like takes us in every direction where we don't really go far. So we're able to focus on sticking true to the reason why we exist, and that's to help young people identify their talents. Yes?
That's like putting a yoke on together so that you can go in the same direction.
Yeah, like yoking up with Christ.
Yeah.
So you don't go too far ahead or just lag too far behind or go off in another direction. Yeah, it's helpful. So that's what's the beauty of this, is because you're here in this meeting because we're working together. And if these are things that you enjoy doing, things that you want to labor with, then we can go really far together. Yes.
So what I'm hearing you say in a nutshell, really, this ministry is all about an information ministry. In other words, when you're teaching them what their gifts is, it's an information. You're teaching them how to find their purpose. So you're bringing them information so that they can go forward with whatever, and helping them identify their calling and giving them information so they can do the work that they called to do. Is that right?
Information and connections, correct. That's a very good overview. What I would say is, on top of that, kind of the reason why, and I was talking to Rebecca about this recently, is in Walks with God Ministries, we kind of took on a lot of things. We saw that there's a need, we're like, okay, let's do it. We saw there's a need, let's do it. And it was intense, and what I see, there's a lot of needs in the gospel work. And where before I used to like really, I see like there are sanitariums that need to be built, and it's like, okay, well, let's do that. There are schools that need to be established for training the youth. Let's do that. There are churches that need to be planted. Let's do that. And really, there's these institutions all throughout like that are for the purpose of sharing the gospel with the world. But to really do any of those well, we kind of need to choose one and do that thoroughly, and then to be able to teach others how to do that. So rather than each of us individually, like the Lord may call us to do that in the future, but we're kind of here because I realize rather than starting each one of these institutions, if we can be the catalyst or plant the seeds in the young people's hearts where we can inspire and instruct them to know how, like that's what they were called to do, and then give them the tools, the strategies, the biblical principles, the belief structure that it would take to be able to follow God's plans through these things, then we can connect them also with gospel laborers who are already doing the thing that they want to do. Then we can, in a sense, we can like vicariously accomplish these things through them, because if it weren't for them coming in contact with our information, our publications, they wouldn't have otherwise dedicated their lives and established all of these ministries all over the world. Yes.
So what you're really saying scripturally is you're coming up and you're equipping the saints.
Yes.
You're doing the high calling. That
Yes.
is the ministry of the disciples, is to equip the saints to do the work that God's called them to do.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's exactly what we want to
God
do.
bless me here.
Praise the Lord.
I have something to bring to the table that the God put me into recently.
Okay.
We can talk about later.
That sounds good.
Amazing.
That sounds
You're not gonna
wonderful.
believe
Praise the Lord.
it.
And I see that there's a few ways that we can do that. A lot of it is information, but information packaged in different ways, and through publishing, in a large degree through publishing this information and connecting people with mentors. Like we see that there's an army of youth that God is looking to raise up to rightly train, but it's not going to be inexperienced youth training inexperienced youth. This army requires those who are experienced in the gospel field to take under their wings and to mentor and to disciple those youthful, energetic, strong, and willing. So when I see the army of youth, it is a co-laboring of multi-generations. It's not just a bunch of young people trying to do some like haphazard effort, but it's all God using the talents of all ages and collectively raising an army of workers. And I really believe that Satan is destroying this world through the education or lack thereof of the youth. And if we can train the youth rightly, then they will be the leaders, the teachers, the statesmen, the different people that make a difference, the influencers of the world. So let's bring the battle to the very citadel. Let's storm the front and go where the battle is. Let's deal with the roots, not just a bunch of symptoms. So that's the goal of the Army of Youth.
I just want you to know the Lord sent me here today.
Praise the Lord.
Praise God.
You're going to be in shock.
I'm excited. Would you like to share right now?
Well, okay. Well, you know, I believe with me, my steps are ordered by the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
The job that I took on, I'm like, God, why did you give me this job? I know you sent me for this job that I'm working at
Mm-hmm.
for a purpose,
Mhm.
because my steps are ordered by you. So,
Mhm.
Lord, I don't know why I'm here, but it's exhausting me. It's wearing me out. I am plugged in with a World Wide Web company that's doing exactly what you're doing, but it's for, matter of fact, I was up early this morning studying about them. It's called, I want to say it's the name, but anyway, what this one does is a worldwide company
Uh-huh.
that trains every rental agency in the whole world
Wow.
from one location.
Oh, cool.
And so I don't care if you're a new manager, an old manager, whatever, you go through there and you pull the programs out of the library to equip you,
Oh, awesome.
to train you,
Oh, cool.
and you can reach the entire world with never even seeing them one time. And I have to go there to get my classes on this website, and it's for all the people in this organization to come there to get equipped to be the best that they can be in their field.
Wow.
It's a library, and that's exactly what
That's
you say
awesome.
you're doing,
Yeah.
so that every person, whatever ministry God's called them to, they have the tools at their hand and they're ready to go forward. They can be, I don't care where they're at in the world, they plug in and they say, we're ready to go.
That's awesome. Wow. So there's a lot that we can learn from that.
I'm there to learn, so
That's awesome.
He's bringing it, and this is exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
That's how we're going to reach the world.
That's right.
Because we can't go and build a school, and that's because it'll drain us.
Yeah.
We can get sidetracked. God's called somebody to build that school. God's
That's right.
called somebody to
Absolutely.
do that. God called them. They need to be equipped. We're equipping the saints.
And
Through the army of youth,
Yeah.
we're equipping them
Amen.
to go out.
Amen. And through equipping them, we get to play a vital role in these institutions to establish. That is awesome. Praise the Lord. I'm happy to hear that.
sorry, I don't know if that goes right with it, but I
No,
feel
I think
like-
it does. Absolutely. That is a resource.
Oh my goodness.
Praise the Lord. Yeah, I know that God is bringing together people to do a work.
Amen.
I-
Because you're already doing that on your website. You're already doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's a visual one, but this one's it'll even be yeah.
It's like a library of resources and training instructions.
Yeah, and you've already set that up. That's the same thing, I think,
Yeah,
is what you've already done.
It is. Well, we're setting it up.
Setting it up.
It takes some time to do, but we are definitely in those stages and have been equipping people, giving them some tools to find those things. Yeah, now it's just a matter of the day of small things, humble beginnings, and it will grow. It will grow as we
Yes.
start working together
Goals.
systematically. That's right.
I'm so excited.
Me too. So, I think in order to understand what our 3 to 5 highest level objectives are, we kind of need to understand what the big picture is, or what we're trying to set out to do. And I believe a way to do that is I've got
Outline.
3 resources to share with us, and I will put them on the screen. I'll share my screen, and I hope it'll be big enough. And if anyone on Zoom has any questions, feel free to type it in the chat, and we can discuss those too. But use the Zoom chat because I'm not monitoring Messenger. Oh, that's cool. So this right here is called the aspiration line. And if you turn around and you look at the screen that our brother has, this is not getting any bigger. There we go. Are you guys able to see a little bit?
Oh, there's a bunch of people contesting on.
Oh, there it is. Alright. Now, the reason why we have this is because I'm glad I don't have to draw this on the board. That kind of works. Are you able to read that, Kathy?
Pretty well, yes.
Pretty well? Okay. So, the aspiration line is basically, it's a line that we're trying to see what is the journey, the aspirations that our avatar, our target audience, the people that we are seeking to serve, we want to kind of consider in their lifelong aspirations in the Lord's service. If someone lived a life dedicated to the service of Christ, what would be some of the what would be part of their journey, their lifelong journey in Christ's service, and how can we support them with the training and tools and methods to be able to accomplish, to live their calling. And in doing that, we have 3 categories. We have the beginner, intermediate, and we have the advanced. And some of these things could be updated, but this is what we have so far, and this is kind of the big picture, higher level view of where we're going, and it might take some time to develop, but recognizing the foundation of all true education is the Word of God. The Bible is the greatest textbook that we could ever use, and when we're training missionaries to do evangelism, to understand their calling, in order to be an evangelist, it's like there has to be a level, like for us to learn to fall in love with the Word of God, fall in love with the message of salvation, the plan of salvation. And to do that, we're going to need to know how to study the Bible. So this is one of the reasons why we're kind of starting here, but we're not going to stay here. This is going to be something where we'll provide for people at a basic level, as an entry level entering into the Army of Youth training grounds, but there's different people at different stages of their life to see where they want to be, and recognizing these are kind of the areas that we want to help them with, but also it's going to be hard to do it all at once. So we have to start somewhere. So it makes sense to me as I was praying to start at the beginning and then work our way through some of these more advanced programs. Yes?
It's kind of like a family, and they have characteristics, and these are like what our characteristics going to be like for our for people that we train.
Yeah.
So we can work together.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
I'm seeing it bigger.
That's good.
Well,
I'm glad.
I'm thinking too, like public speaking, like you're talking about going global, and as we're doing events, there's going to be a lot of people that are coming to these conventions that they're going to need to have tools when we leave. They're not going to be left with no tools.
Right.
They're not going to starve to death. They're going to
Right.
have food to help them grow,
Amen.
and we'll be able to bring them, what was the word that we said, equipping the saints,
Mhm.
so that they can grow and they can be plugged in with other Army of Youth, so they can actually move at a faster rate as an army.
Amen.
Amen.
I completely agree.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Fit soldiers.
And what's really powerful is if, well, I'll get to the value ladder later, but that it kind of explains how all of these tools and these resource publications that we leave with people, they all lead you up to further steps where they get greater training, more in-depth, more resources, libraries of training and systems that they can follow. And the more that they go into the Army of Youth, they're getting more and more equipped with resources. But all of these, we're going to have some like foundational public just resources that are going to be scattered like the leaves of autumn. And we will, but each one of those will lead to a greater step in this ladder. And it's all an intentional journey that we are leading them to experience this and to equip people with these skills.
Amen.
Yeah. So just real quick on this beginner area, some of the foundational skills to help people with, and these are trainings and information we're going to be teaching. One of them is how to study the Bible. That's called the Direction from God program. That's kind of going to be there.
What'd you call it?
Direction from God.
Direction from God.
Yeah, that's what we're calling it. And then identifying their talents and their life calling. That's currently called Live Your Calling. That's what and actually what you are using as a clipboard. That's the Live Your Calling count book. And we're all kind of practicing with those with the prototype. And it's going to be a course. It's going to be like a seminar that we can provide for people to understand these concepts, to just have a total life transformation and identifying their talents. And then 3 is reclaim your devotions. That's how to develop and maintain consistent daily devotions while living in a distracted world. We have that, the 1.0 version or the simplified version already, but we're going to be improving it as we go. And then go ahead.
Where's the reclaim at? I can't find it.
Reclaim your devotions, number 3.
Oh, reclaim. Okay. Oh, so this is all under
Beginner.
beginner. Okay. But you
Yes.
said also it's called the Directions from God.
Direction from God is number 1.
Yeah. Direction from God.
Oh, the DFG. I didn't know what that stood for. Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
Direction from God.
That's okay.
That's why I said it, because I know
Yes.
people wouldn't understand. And overcome satanic shyness, that's just to help people to get something that a lot of young people struggle with is anxiety, and it paralyzes them from interacting with others. It paralyzes them from having meaningful relationships, and it's through the social relations that the gospel is carried to the world that Christianity comes in contact with the hurting and sinful. Yes?
Satan would have it that way, that you're not very influential,
Yeah.
even though you have the power to be able to have the influence.
That's right.
Yeah.
So the purpose of Overcoming Satanic Shyness course program is to help people to just equip them with some, maybe that might be like a 30-day challenge, that one day they get like a more advanced they start off with something simple, baby steps, and then little by little they gain micro victories that develops momentum in their life so that they can learn how to socialize and connect in this highly quote unquote connected world where so many people are really disconnected from each other. So we're trying to combat that. And so that's kind of like the beginning. Once they go over that and they're willing to share and they're willing to come out of their comfort zone and they're willing to be used for God and use their talents, they know what their talents are, and now they want to share with others. Some of the intermediate things are like voice culture training, public speaking training, so that we can not just teach, but we can teach teachers how to teach, so that they can go out and train others. And I see what I've learned is if we create blueprints for the trainings that we provide, then we have like a workbook and we have a structure and frameworks, then you're able to people who have those talents and desires to be able to educate others, they could actually use a blueprint, and they can go out and they can conduct direction from God seminars in multiple places. We might be able to develop in the future multiple presenters that can go out to these different places, and because it's like a framework, a blueprint, you could just duplicate. We don't want what works, we want what duplicates, and these blueprints will give people everything they need to go out and have a program. Have you ever heard of Financial Peace University? That's with Dave Ramsey. He's just one example, but he's a Christian and he does this because he has these blueprints. He's able to have like these trainings that people go through. Maybe they do it in their home and they conduct like a small group on that. His is like how to get out of debt and things like that, but ours could be how to study the Bible as one of them. And then people can do it at a church or conferences and conventions in different places. There's the limit. It's limitless who we reach through that. And then Bible worker training. That's just the basic simplicity of how to be able to. So you have your personal encyclopedia. You're studying the Bible. You're understanding these truths. Now, how do you share it in a way? How do you meet the people where they're at, meet their needs and the different types of minds, and how you can systematically take people through the gospel so that they can understand how to develop a closer relationship with Christ. So it's just training people to share with others what God has shared with them. Modern publishing is for people who want to create publications and also share information and equip others. And advanced is self-supporting ministry that's like training business owners or helping people to develop industries, like Paul, who was a tent maker, and he used that tent making to support his ministry, and that their business is a vehicle of spreading the gospel, where people can be missionaries, evangelists, gospel workers without and they financially support their families and their homes. A lot of people, they want to work for God, but they think that they got to quit their job and go do that full time. And other people, they want to work for God, but they don't know how they're going to support their family. So we're going to be exploring different ways that people can do that. I can see how that would be really helpful. And leadership development is to help people to develop leaders, to lead leaders who lead other leaders. That's 2 Timothy 2:2. Who would like to read 2 Timothy 2:2?
I can.
Thank you.
And the things that thou hast heard of me among many witnesses, the same commit thou to faithful men, who shall be able to teach others also.
Yeah, we see Paul trained Timothy. Timothy trained faithful men, and faithful men would teach others also. So we just see multiple developments of these leaders who are going forth. So these are kind of like the themes that we'll be progressing and sharing. So that might be like you have a ministry, or maybe you have a business, and you need a team. You need to understand how to discern gifts. You need to know how to galvanize people, how to be a vision caster, how to mobilize for ministry. And so we're going to be training people how to work with others, because I see there's a lot of solopreneurs, there's a lot of ministers, gospel workers who are so exhausted, and they are hard workers who know how to work for God, but they don't know how to teach others how to do what they do. And so we can train ministers, gospel workers, evangelists, how they can not only lighten their load, but they can raise up others to take part in the gospel evangelism as well, so that there's not so much idleness in the Lord's vineyard.
Amen.
Yeah.
Great minds think all.
So that's what the aspiration line is. And we're kind of starting on the beginner area first, and as we're developing. And then let's look at the value ladder. The value ladder is a little, it's still being developed, but this is kind of the model of how it all works together. Here you have, how many steps is that?
5.
5, okay, thank you. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So here we have like these publications. This is going out to the world. This is the content, the modern publications, and this is something that publishing and marketing is. It's kind of just like taking the information and getting it before the people, and like we were saying, that would be tracts, literature, videos, photos. That could be little types of small books that you share with people. That could be podcasts. That could be a variety of different things, and then it could that could lead to another step, which is it might be something simple like a short course, or a daily account book, like a planner, or maybe an ebook or something. And we're working on the daily account book, the Live Your Calling daily account book. Some of you guys have heard about that, and some on Zoom haven't. And then what we're doing is a membership or a subscription program. This is where people receive ongoing monthly training, and from here I see it is a very effective way to put together the content for what we're going to be using in other areas. This is where people can have like that group coaching, that they're able to ask questions and find access, and we just launched our first live cast here, and that was on the 12th, Thursday, and that was really effective. We have about 8 people that joins, and what's beautiful is it takes the same amount of work and effort to reach 8 people as it does to reach 8,000 people. With this subscription program, it takes no more effort to reach thousands, and they're all able to be trained through this regard. And then we'll have online courses as a step up from this. Online courses, and at first I was thinking online courses was the way to start, but one thing I realized with the courses as I did further research, I actually did a lot of research over the last year about online courses, and what I realized is most of the best courses, they actually start as a group coaching program. and some of them don't think to use it this way. A lot of times they call it a pilot program, or they just go through the training first. But you have to take some serious focus to package all of the resources, the templates, the workbooks, and blueprints and curriculum to be able to give that to people. And that could be challenging to batch and to do all of that at once. It's kind of like writing a book in some regards to develop that. It's easier to develop it a little bit over time and to do it well. That way it gives you the opportunity to really focus on creating like 5 points at a time with the slides, with the blueprints, the worksheets, the companion resources. Yes?
And plus, at the same time, we see what works and what doesn't. And so we can put in there what works and take out what doesn't.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. And then the last one is live intensive training. This would be like seminars. And this could be in different locations. And
does that count meetings too?
I don't know, camp meetings are kind of like summits. Those have a slightly different approach to them. This would be more like, so all of this would be like one subject that we're looking at. So for instance, the direction from God. Direction from God. This is how to study the Bible. Here, we're producing content on the podcast to educate people how to study the Bible, showing them the what and the why of like why we should study the Bible, why, like how it's going to make a huge impact in our life and our experience, and what Christ has to offer, and why we should get stronger in our spiritual devotions. And so that's this. And from there, these publications are going out and they're leading you to maybe, like in the future, it'd be nice to give them a free offer of like a book like 21 Myths About Bible Study, just kind of dealing with the hang-ups or challenges that they face that prevents them from having consistent devotions or prevents them from having a closer walk with God. That can transform someone's life. A little book or a mini course or a Udemy course or something that we can give to people. And then from there we can share with them the subscription program where they get ongoing training. And that's all about how to study the Bible. We're going in depth on different subjects. We're repeating and enlarging, sharing things that we've never shared before in the way that we have, with resources and blueprints. And then the online courses is just going in depth, and it's all put together. It's a step-by-step program, a system that people are able to follow. And then there are a lot of people who will listen to the podcast, watch the, read the book, sign up for the subscription. They'll go through the entire course, but they want in-person. There's nothing quite like the in-person live experience of going through a program together. So that I was going to answer Mom's question. Yes.
Could that not be on opposite for a second? The last one, you said something that really clicked in my head. Okay, so we have the stair step, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just one stair step, it's 3 stair steps.
3 stair steps because of the subjects?
Because of the subjects. You have the direction from God, you have the beginner, intermediate, advanced. So
Yeah.
they all both have their own 3 steps.
Sure.
The steps, which is great.
Uh-huh.
So then on top of that, if we do that way, if we have a seminar where they come to the seminar,
Mm-hmm.
that's a good platform to begin to give them all those.
I completely agree.
So almost doing it backwards almost a little bit. On the top one needs to be on the bottom. So that it can be there first so we get them on a huge level. I mean, we can do it on the internet that way too, but what I'm saying is when we go to the meeting ones, we're going to leave them with something they can go to on a daily basis, and they will be geared up to go to all those classes.
Yeah, it's kind of going to be, it's going to be like this.
That's perfect.
Just like what you were saying. It's just lather, rinse, repeat.
Yeah.
And that's why in the subscription program, we're going to keep building up new books and stuff.
Yeah,
But I mean, even
do
those
research and
basic
trainings.
ones, if you have those, and like you said, you have different things in those categories, you know, and each one of those steps
Mhm.
have different things that you're offering, that right there is going to reach a mass quantity of people in one meeting. Just one.
In which meeting?
When we do, for instance, my mind, you know how I am, I'm thinking, okay, what's the nearest facility near me? And it's like, what's the place up in Pullman? It's called the Kitty Dome.
Kitty Dome, yeah.
Okay, well, there's another convention center up there that's actually more our size.
Oh, cool.
And it's, I've been to one of the conventions there already for women's thing.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And when we do this, we will, you know, blitz our area.
Yeah.
And no reason not to do it. I don't care if it's just 10 people show up or 1,500 or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
But that's a good platform for us to get to go through the whole thing, to get them to join the Army of Youth, and then give them that first window, or the
Yes.
second window, or the third window. But if we already have the stuff set up, they're going to be equipped to go and do whatever area they're at, whatever
Mhm.
level they're at. They can decide that day.
Right.
And we can have people sitting at the table, signing them up to help them get moved on to that next level.
That ongoing mastery, that further training in depth.
And that would be huge.
I completely
Fast.
agree.
Super fast.
The thing about that is, out of all of these, the reason why it was in this step is because at each step it requires more time and money, labor, and like the resources of time, manpower, and resources to accomplish each step. And so, excuse me, in creating the program, in order to have this, we need to have all of these other in
Yes.
place.
Yes, in place.
So it would make sense to start at the bottom rung and develop each of these, and then when we have this foundation,
Yes.
then you're absolutely right. This could be the first introduction. What I'd like to do is everybody who joins a subscription or the online course, they will get like free event tickets for them and one other person. So it encourages new people like, whoa, I got a ticket for me and a friend. Let me bring my spouse, let me bring my brother, let me bring my friend. And so a lot of people will find out for the first time all of this stuff because of the live event that they have. So all of this, but it makes sense to have like the guts of the program kind of a library there as well as we're doing it.
Have to.
And this kind of, the subscription creates the training and opportunity to create the course, and the course will give us that opportunity to have the seminar, and then by then we're just full
How far are we
fledged.
up the ladder right now? Are
We-
we up the
we-
stairs? Where are we? Is that
We
where we're at
just launched this.
now? Okay.
We have this going on, and we've got quite a bit of content out there that people are watching and lives are being changed. We just did our first month here, and this is a monthly training, and then we're gonna be refining these, and this I'm gonna do last, or I'm gonna do later.
Well, you kind of have that going too.
No, what?
The second tier, because you have the daily account book and you
Oh.
have some short courses.
Oh, you're right. We do have the daily account book. I didn't even think of that. Well, the reason why is because the daily account book is kind of on a different subject.
Yeah.
That would be under like Live Your Calling. But what I'd like to do, I know of a company that will take an online course and they'll break it down from your lessons and your topics. The lessons will be chapters, the topics will be headlines. They'll transcribe it and they'll edit it for a book, and then they'll create and publish and get it on the #1 bestseller on Amazon from your course. And I was like, wow, what a service is that? That's really cool. So we could just outsource the creation of a book, and from that book, it's called a book funnel. That when people get the book, in the book you're just training and teaching, you're like changing their life, and they're like, whoa, and they enjoy that. But you're making reference to the ongoing training too. So in each one, you're making reference to the other.
Are these almost like we're talking about even the videos, because sometimes the videos can be too long?
Yeah.
So to have the key points, is that and turning them into extra videos so that you don't put all the information in one setting, they can actually bounce around. It's like, well, I'm really struggling in this area, not all these areas, but they can just bounce from that key thing to, oh, here's another thing that this is what I'm really struggling with.
Absolutely.
Kind of like an outline, you know, like, okay, I want this chapter, but then I don't want all that information. I want this piece over here. So they can move a lot faster in the areas that they're struggling in or the help that they need.
Absolutely.
They don't waste so much time.
That is what we're calling micro content. And Kim, who's on here, she is responsible for taking our videos and sermons and things that we're recording, and she leads the content team that like creates the outline, and they cut it into small, like 5-10 minute crunchable consumable videos and clips, and then like mass produces that. Rebecca does it with photos, and different people do different parts.
Different platforms.
And then Jackie, who's on here, is helping with the transcriptions and the written side, so blog articles to reach people who are audio, video, and visual learners. And then we'll give them action steps for those kinesthetic people they could do. And so with that, and then each one of those, at the end of them, we have what are called bumpers, that at the end they're like, hey, if you like this, then come check out like this free offer, or come check out, sign up for our crash course or like mini course we're gonna teach you. So we give them more training, value video 1, 2, 3, and we're just training them. And then at the end, we'll offer them the course or the subscription program that they can gain this. And the way that I look at it is, when it comes to like finances, and you and I talked about, we're very similar in that it's really hard to hard to wrap around like the charging for some of these things. And what I learned is that, first of all, when it comes to this free content, there's like YouTube and podcasts, and we're going to essentially be giving all of the information. As far as the information goes, we're going to be giving it away in micro chunks, like what you're talking about. So everything will be accessible, but the thing about free information is it is not organized in a step-by-step system. And so on YouTube, you might go to the Army of Youth and find like 350 videos that you can choose from. And you can say, you know, I'm struggling with this, let me watch this. I'm struggling with this, let me watch that. Or the podcast and find 300 episodes. But the thing is, it's not systematic. They could watch and consume it and in all these random orders, because that's how it's published, and they get blessing from it. But what we're offering in these paid subscriptions or courses is we're offering an organized step-by-step system that they can follow to be at point A, and bring them all the way, take them all these steps, obstacles, and challenges to get to point B. You can't really do that with any other, like Facebook, podcast, YouTube, other publishing platforms, like don't really offer that. So, and that's really for the people that, in every audience that you have, there's going to be some who want to support, but they want something in return. There's going to be others who want to support and they're excited and looking forward to something. But if we don't provide them another way that they can go up the ladder in the engagement of the Army of Youth and supporting the work, they believe in what we're doing and they want to help, then we're doing them a disservice by not providing that. And what also helped me is that we are not excluding those who can't afford it or who are on the different step. We're not excluding them from the blessings, because we're providing these things for free. We're giving more for free what other people will charge for, but we're just creating an option for those who want to go further. Yes.
That's interesting you would say that, because when you're in business
Mhm.
and you're working, you have a family, sometimes you want to be able to give to a ministry
Yeah.
that's going forward for Christ,
Yes.
because you can't go, but God's blessed you with the finances to
True.
bless the gospel, to go forward. So that is your ministry, is
That's
being
right.
a giver financially. And I was like, God, that's amazing. He showed me that. I mean,
Praise
after
the
you and I
Lord.
were talking, I was praying. I was like, Lord, how does this work, Lord? And I'm like, it has to be true, but I just don't understand. I couldn't wrap
Right.
my mind around it. But then lately I've been asking, it's like, I have this chunk of money for Christmas that I was trying to figure out who I can minister to.
Mhm.
I was like, Lord, who? And the Lord's like, which is really weird because I usually do something, but I don't feel like I'm supposed to. I feel like I'm supposed to put it back because it's going to be for ministry. And I'm like, okay, that's different. That's really weird. I've never felt that way before. I'm always looking for somebody to bless, you know,
Mhm.
during this time of year.
Mhm.
But I'm like, okay, God, you're doing something even bigger too. And I'm like, so you mean the finances sometimes we get can be to go forward with ministry,
Mhm.
another ministry
Absolutely.
altogether.
Right.
That's exciting.
It is exciting.
And it's duplicatable.
Thank you, Kathy. I love it. And it's duplicatable. That's the
Absolutely.
ministry. I
And
love it.
And we don't want what works. We want what duplicates. We want we want people to be reached in thousands of locations around the world. Like, yeah. So that's going to be powerful. And
That's really powerful.
so those were some of the things that helped me to understand the giving people opportunities. And I don't really understand how this whole thing works. I think this includes like people's travel, their housing, lodging, food, and like a small ticket. But one thing that I learned with the subscription program is because it's a monthly reoccurring thing. Right now we have the direction from God for $49 a month for anyone who wants to participate. And we could do some giveaways where we like give people tuition waivers, or we sponsor people to receive their education. But this will provide like a baseline of monthly budget or operating, something consistent that we could pull from that will help to pay for the lights and the programs, the equipment, and staff, and help to support people so that they can labor full-time in the Army of Youth, or to be able, or even part-time, or however that looks for people to take the gospel out and it's consistent. And so that's what's another beneficial thing about the program that these other ones don't offer. And so I just think the whole thing is going to be really helpful. Now, are there any questions on the value ladder? No questions? Okay.
I just want you to know I'm really excited. I feel like I'm going to blow up.
That's how I feel too. It wakes me up every morning.
It's exciting.
It makes it hard to sleep at night.
Work with the Lord. It's like,
And reach the whole world.
Yes, internationally.
In such a manner as this. Yeah.
And I'm not even a techie person, which is good because somebody else is the techie.
Yeah,
That's right.
and that's why it's an army, and each person has different skills and talents and abilities. We just all need to be willing to learn from each other, and that's the beauty of working with multiple generations. So one other thing I want to mention is we have a battle board that we just recently got, and that's basically our board. It's our 12-month calendar that it is in our living room. And for those who are watching on Zoom, who are not local, I just created a Google Calendar also that's going to be a duplicate of some of the things on there, so that we as a team know what are the major goals, deadlines, events, and things that affect the whole organization as a whole and the team. So that's going to help us to know some of these dates and know when major things are taking place, and know what our focus is at the time.
You
Yes.
created a Google what?
Calendar, a
Okay.
Google Calendar, and it's called the AOYO Battle Board. It's going to be helpful. And I'm trying to think what else. So we have this tool in the account book called Ministry's Definite Aim.
Sorry, what's it called?
Ministry's Definite Aim.
Definite aim.
Yeah, do you mind if I see this real quick? I wonder if there's something else you could write on.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I got it.
The green one.
Oh, that's perfect. Thank you, Kathy. Remember. So for those who are watching, this is a daily account book that we're putting together. This is the Live Your Calling account book, where we're helping people to find a definite aim so that they can go through and understand. This is kind of like a self-discovery. This is to strengthen our walk with Christ, to have an element of self-examination, to come apart, rest a while, take some time to just reflect. It's a journal / planner / just life guide using biblical principles to identify why are we here on earth? What are we supposed to be doing? This will be an invaluable resource for people who struggle with depression, to be able to find purpose and meaning in life and to be working together. I know several people on our team. We actually originally created this because there's several on our team who are wanting to remember commitments that they did, where sometimes we have these jolts of inspiration or these commitments that we say we're going to do something and things start falling through the cracks, and we know in order to accomplish much we need to attempt much, and part of this attempting is we got to keep track of what is on our plate, what are we attempting, and not lose it. So I was praying to God, I'm like, Lord, how can I help the productivity of our team? And I remembered that when our Walks with God Ministries put together a planner in the past, and we all use it together, and then in the morning we would get together and say, like, this is my objectives for today, and this is what I intend to do. Our communication was just so much clearer, so much better. We're able to assist each other. We're able to plan according to what others' objectives are, and we were helping each other not just meet, but to exceed the goals that we were setting. And it was just it was a period of life that was just, it was incredible to see the efficiency of us binding together and moving forward so quickly. Yes?
And it was powerful right away.
It was.
And there was times when we'd be waiting on each other and waiting on each other and then it would fall through the crack and we wouldn't accomplish what we were setting out to do. And in that, we were able to say, hey, Enoch, we were supposed to get together today to finish this or whatever, you know, and it just, it was powerful.
Mm-hmm. So that's what we have here, and at the beginning, the beginning pages is going to be kind of like a workbook. This is going to be an online course as well that we're going to give people. We're going to walk them through the process, not just the process of how to use it, but also the biblical Bible studies, the teachings from God's Word about things like gratitude, of planning, of surrender, consecration, and understanding God's will, and identifying like spiritual gifts and talents, and Bible studies to discover our calling here on earth. So that's kind of how it begins, and the need to document some of these things. So I brought this up because one of them we have is life's definite aim, and these are like the major areas. There are like 7 major areas that we should be setting goals in our life, but we also have a ministry's definite aim that shows what are the major areas in the ministry that we are trying to do up front. And I'm sharing the screen now. We have this in different categories. Oh, I zoomed in a bunch. I was like, why doesn't this all fit? So we have publishing goals, system goals, because we need campaign goals, recruiting goals, metrics, financial, and Dream 100. Now, I am sure that's a lot of things that people don't understand, each one, but we kind of explain that more. Is for publishing, that's kind of step 1, where we've done things like we've made the micro content sometimes, but it will be and we've been doing the daily live videos to help people, but we need to be more systematic and get into like a rhythm of how we're doing it. There's we've got like some of the team, some on the virtual team will take the content and then cut it up into audio, video, written in smaller chunks and publishing these. And some of them know how to do certain things, but the rhythm isn't as established so that we understand, so that it could just be consistently done every time. And in order to do that, we need to put in place a system to know what are the steps that we got to take and who's responsible for what part. Yes,
And
ma'am.
on what day?
Yeah, on what day we're scheduling them.
Yeah.
And yes, so that's an important part. I really see that the phase of ministry that we're in, publishing, marketing and sales, those two are, like I was learning about the life cycle of a business too, where there's like 10 stages, and this guy was saying like one of them's like a baby, where when it's an infant stage, and then there's like a toddler stage, then there's like a youth stage, and then a young adult, and then someone in their prime, and then maybe like I think older, and then death. It was something like that. And it was basically making analogies how when you're in a baby stage, you just have a baby. It takes a lot of time, energy, focus, strength, attention, and you might have to give up. There's just a lot of sacrifice that's involved in that early stage. And as a toddler, they demand less, but you've still got to pay attention. That toddler can't, like that toddler or youth is not able to just like carry on without you. They're still dependent in large degree. You can't walk away. And then maybe you've got like a youth or they're a little bit more responsible. They can kind of manage for a little longer. Like a young adult is able to, they're able to kind of go on without you. There's like systems in place, and they have the strength of foundation enough that they can kind of continue. They might need a little maintenance every now and then and counsel, but they're able to go forward. And then you got prime, which is just some businesses when they're fully functional, they're established, they're ready to go. And then there's some declining ones, and then there's the death of companies. Some of them don't outlast their owners, and some of them die before. So it's kind of like that phase, and recognizing that, like with a baby, oftentimes you don't want to establish like two different babies at the same time, because when you're a parent and you got two babies, like that's intense. One of them's hard enough. I know Diana, you're dealing with that with your grandbaby, and then also it's kind of like when you have two parents, you can kind of mitigate some of that, and you could share the load and take turns a little bit. But when there's one, it's more taxing. And but when there's something like a youth or a toddler, then your goal is to train the child to be able to stand on their own and to be a productive member of society, that they can go forth and train other children. They can start other families of their own eventually, and to fulfill the Great Commission. So that's kind of the same analogy with a ministry. In that toddler infant stage, it's going to require more of our time or more momentum to try to get things going, and it's not going to be able to last without us. It's going to be harder to establish like two different ministries at the same time. And what I see is there's a lot of ambitious gospel workers that want to establish this institution, this program, this mission, and because there's so many different things going, it's hard and it's really taxing, and the ministers are drained and exhausted. Because Jesus, when he was questioned, he's like, "Wist ye not I must be about my Father's business?" So ministry is the business of heaven. So there's a lot of similarities we can see through that. And starting a new ministry is like starting a new business. A lot of times it takes a team and finances to support, depending on how it is. But there's just different needs of infant stages. So we're kind of like in an infant area. There's a little, although we're, we are like kind of starting the Army of Youth. This is our first annual meeting. First time we're kind of formally coming together, laying the foundation. We're still kind of borrowing a lot of experience, some influence, some of the workers, some of the team from Walks with God Ministries, some of the finances, and we kind of have a little bit to support to get this going together. So it's not like just born, but and the Army of Youth has been an idea since like 2015, and it's just within the last year we've been putting more transitioning towards this, away from Walks with God Ministries. I wanted to do that in 2015, but I was really encouraged, no, Walks with God Ministries is established, people understand it, it's helping and it's reaching people, and don't stop that, do Army of Youth. Some people were saying both. I'm like, no, I can't do both, I know that for a fact. And then I just realized that it was, God has been telling me for many years to do less better and to downsize, but I just felt trapped, like, how do I? If I stopped this, then these souls are going to be like neglected, or like we have this program, people are expecting it, and they're a part of this, and so it just kind of was hard. But in October 2018, it was an easier time to transition. There was just the Lord opened the doors to start walking more and more towards the Army of Youth and to do what we get to do here. And I believe the Army of Youth has a bigger vision, and it has the greatest capacity for being able to serve more people. So
And teaching the teachers.
yeah, teaching the teachers,
amazing.
that's great. Yes,
Can you add to your shirt? Ask me.
ask me. Yeah, we can do that.
Ask me. That is one of the best shirts I have seen. I want one.
That's
I
good.
want one.
We have them on Teespring.
Amen.
That would be great. And it would be nice to have the same t-shirt when we do live events.
Yeah, we do them on the subscription too.
And yeah, we could, yeah, but anyways, that's another thing. Ask me. Yeah, we could add
Little
we could
tiny,
add whatever we
little
want.
letters.
Where would you want it? Here, or here? Or
Right
here?
there above the store. It says little tiny.
Right
Little
here.
teeny tiny.
Ask me.
Little tiny. Because people go, what's that?
Yeah.
And it makes them think.
I like that. That's interesting. That's neat. And Renelle made the t-shirts. She
I like
put
them.
that together and put it up there. Great. Why do we... Ministry's definite name. We're talking about the content rhythm. Part of that includes... So for this foundation, a big thing that I see that we have to do is, because we're working with different people, we need systems. We're not going to be able to do this without having, for each of us, to document what we're doing and kind of just make it to where this can be done. And I learned about systems several years ago, and at first I didn't know how to do that or where to start. But so I kind of started making a few systems here and there, and they're kind of scattered. But lately, I found a course, a program called Systemology, and it's actually showing you exactly where to start, what is the highest priority, and this will help us for the next phase that we're going in. And that phase that we're in right now, in this baby toddler stage, is reason why I was explaining the 10 cycles of a business is because the most important things that we need right now is marketing and sales. We need to let people know we exist, provide that training. Marketing and publishing are the same thing. There's a ministry that some of you will recognize, is Amazing Facts. And I've been in contact with their publishing director for several years, because I've really been an advocate of publishing. And in their department, publishing and marketing are the same head, two names for the same department, and the role for publishing is the same role for marketing. It's the same thing, they're synonymous terms. So marketing and sales, which would basically be producing, one of the main forms of marketing that we'll be doing is something that's called content marketing. And for those who are not aware of content marketing, Kim, are you able to explain a little bit about what content marketing is in like a short explanation? She's muted right now. I'm not sure if she'll be able to. Or
Unmute her?
I tried to unmute her, it didn't work. Would someone else like to share briefly what content marketing is?
I can.
Go ahead, Mom.
Content marketing is where you're sharing information about what you're doing with the community, and the way you do it is like if you do a video, you could break down that video and repurpose it so that it could go on different platforms like YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and such like that. So it'll reach the mass amount of people in the way that they learn. So there's some people who won't be on Facebook. They don't like Facebook. They'll never be on Facebook, but they'll be on Twitter or they'll be on Pinterest or something like that. And so we break it down so that we can reach everybody where they're at.
Yes. And being intentional about the type of publications that we produce, in the sense that it's on the subject of direction from God or how to study the Bible, where the content is on the themes that we're discussing, because that will qualify the leads, rather than just sharing with a whole bunch of people that are not at that stage, they're not in that space, or they're not prepared or ready to want to know how to study the Bible, where we are qualifying them. I've heard a definition of marketing is attracting the people that you want and repelling the people that are not a good fit. And I was like, wow, that makes a lot of sense.
That's important too.
Because when you have the wrong person in the right program, they could start complaining. They're very vocal, they're very distracting, and they're just unhappy and disruptive.
Kim, unmuted her.
Oh, she unmuted herself. Well, that's good. Kim, are you able to explain what are you able to explain what the Leaves of Autumn content distribution is?
We can't hear you if you're talking. She's not talking.
That's okay. No worries.
Do that one too.
And I
What do you
hear.
mean by the leaves of autumn?
Great question.
You know what it is.
Hello?
Hey,
Oh,
Kim.
there she is.
We can hear you now.
Yeah.
Would you be willing to share with us what the Leaves of Autumn distribution model is?
Oh, we can't hear her. She's talking.
She said hello, but I didn't.
Yeah, but she was talking just now. We couldn't hear her.
Oh, wonder why.
Maybe the internet's unstable or something.
Yeah, maybe the internet is unstable. Oh, okay. Yeah. She is. She has to make a call real quick. So, that's not a problem. Tina, can you explain what the Leaves of Autumn model is?
She said, please.
What about you, Kamran? Can you explain what the Leaves of Autumn content model is?
Is that so a system of repurposing larger pieces of content and organizing them into all in one place so that they can be easily accessed and redistributed, possibly in future,
Yes.
in different forms?
It's good.
That sounds really good the way you put that.
Yeah.
The leaves of autumn
It is
is
really good.
like the leaves that fall in autumn, and they just fall anywhere and everywhere. And we want to get as much out like the leaves. We want to get that out into the public so that they can reach it.
Yeah, and if take that. If there's anyone that wants to, I just figure you guys might want some light. But if anyone wants to walk on the treadmill to stay awake or to keep engaged, you're welcome to walk. Talk. It won't disturb the audio or anything.
Satan wait from his wings.
Yeah. So yeah, that's what it is. It's basically it's creating that system to take the content and turn it into micro content and publish, just like the leaves of autumn fall all over the place and you can't stop them from scattering everywhere. We want the Word of God, the training, the instruction, the education, the equipping of the saints to be scattered all around the world, that you can't stop the distribution from these locations.
That's one thing I don't understand. How do you distribute it in a way that it gets to everybody? I mean, because I see the basic picture, but how do you find these people? I mean, is it through little blurps on, like, say, if you go to crafts, all of a sudden there's an ad that pops up and says, oh, study your Bible today. I don't understand how you reach the people, because how do you get the people to subscribe that are on the internet? Because I don't know how the marketing thing is.
That's right. Great question. First of all, one viral video can be reached. It can blow up to be like 3 million views. Like I've got a friend, one of the friends that I met, Robert. He had a video, a 20-minute video, Bible study, and that just people shared because it was an idea worth sharing. And just like viruses, they just infect a cell and they cause that cell to spread and share the virus, and they infect others and they spread and share. So that's why they talk about viral content. And we have a course that's called Viral Academy. And
Viral Academy?
Viral Academy.
I need it.
and we were learning about the contagious content. The content ideas that you just can't resist but to share with other people. So our goal is, as we're publishing every day, we're learning that there's actually a science to viral videos, and there's 8 traits of virality. We have a poster of it. It was posted up. It's right here. We need to post it, but it's this inside one. These 8 traits of virality, and the more of these traits that we can interject in our content, the more it increases the likelihood of people sharing it with others. So it's like word of mouth advertising, but it's just like you do it often too. Like you have a post and you share it with everyone, and you decide like you got to check this out. And just like someone shares with you, that's content marketing. That's what's happening. Content is the stuff that the internet is made out of. Everything online is content.
So that is like when I go on Facebook and I say, oh, I really like what they're saying about, say, Trump.
Mm-hmm.
And I gotta share this with everybody.
Yep.
And I push.
That's viral.
It goes everywhere.
Yeah. That's
and then
right.
somebody, they tell their 2 friends, and they tell their 2 friends, and so on,
Absolutely.
so on. Next thing you know, they have the whole world.
Exactly.
Oh, that's how that works.
Yeah.
I thought it was only reaching my little group of people, my little team.
No, it's a ripple
my
effect.
little people that I text.
The influence you have, and you don't even know
Think about it this way. You throw a pebble into a lake and a wave is formed, and then another and another and another until it reaches the farthest shore. And so it is with our influence.
Wow.
But what's beautiful is
This is my life.
it's life-changing. And with this modern publishing, it actually tracks every ripple effect in the person that's been reached.
How does it track it?
Because it registers every time someone views it, it's counting views. And
Is it
it'll
a
tell you.
website that does that counts it for you?
Yeah, it's YouTube and podcasts, at Facebook. All of these platforms that we publish on, they have analytics. And we'll have people on the team that study the analytics to see what is working and what isn't, based on their engagement, their shares in the comments, how engaged the audience is who's coming in contact with our publications. It's just like if you take a track. What's beautiful about this modern publishing is if you've ever had a Bible track, then you give to someone and they may or may not read it, but it's there. And it's harder for them, in order for them to give it to someone else, they have to let go of theirs. And you're limited to however many tracks you own, that's how many you can pass out. But with modern publishing, you're able to give a tract to someone and they're like, wow, that's powerful. And then they can take that same tract, give it to someone else with a link, and then they're able to keep theirs and they're able to keep theirs, and they give that tract to 5 other people, and they get to keep theirs, and now 10 people have the same tract.
Wow, by the price of one.
Yes. Well, actually,
Thousands of
for
people have it.
cheaper than
Millions
one.
of people have the same one for the price of one.
Exactly. And it's the same amount of effort, work, time, energy, resources, manpower to create to reach one soul as it is to reach 1 million souls.
I know the times we live in. Just think when the prophets could look upon this day and see how we reach people, how we communicate.
Yeah.
And the young people understand this. They were never born in a world that didn't have the internet. And this is where the young people are consuming and learning and growing. And they are interacting with the world. Is a lot of these things is online. And so if we want to reach the youth, we got to go where they are. Reach them through the familiar association. So let's speak their language of where they're at. And each social media platform has a slightly different language. And so when we create publications that's unique to the context, the language, the culture of that social media platform, I look at every platform like it's a country. Snapchat is like a country, and it has their own culture. Just like if we go to Africa as missionaries there, they eat differently, they dress differently, they talk differently, sometimes they look differently, and there's going to be slight differences, but as we learn their culture, we can reach them with the gospel. Same thing with Facebook, YouTube, podcasts, and things like that.
Is that like gamers are big right now, so you would have a program designed with their kind of mentality to reach the people that are gamers, like?
Exactly, yeah.
So they would be like, what's that? And then they click on it because it's in that format that gamers can relate to?
Yes, like Discord. We have Cameron and I, we have a program that gamers get on there, and then they audio chat and they talk to each other. So we can create a community of like young people that are on fire for Christ, to share testimonies, scripture songs, to do Bible study type stuff, share their testimony. And then gamers are able to be attracted to the community that they're already hanging out in. We're just creating a room for them to choose from, and as they come in contact with Christians, that changes their life. So gamers could be reached through their familiar association.
So that they because like you said, I'm thinking a gamer a lot of times doesn't go to any of those other platforms, Facebook or any of them. They're just there. They literally live and breathe and eat at their computer, and they don't have no life but their computer.
Yeah.
And it's a gaming area.
That's right.
So we would focus on them so that they could actually get light into a dark area.
Exactly.
Wow.
There's gaming communities online that if you just go to that community and bring light, let your light shine, they'll be attracted to the light.
And they won't feel alone, isolated, because you take a young Christian boy that's in those gaming areas, he might feel like the small man out. What do they call it?
The odd man out?
The odd man out.
Uh-huh.
So he is given into pressure because he's the odd man out when he's really not the odd man out.
Right.
There's many people just like them, but they don't ever get to meet.
Right.
So they think everybody out there is like one of those and I have to be one of those people to fit in. But really, there's lots of people just like him.
It's so true.
And now they can network together.
Exactly.
And be stronger for each other and play games if they're gonna game. Ones that are maybe not full of demonic.
It allows them to come together on common interests.
Yeah.
And let me ask you a question. If there's these gamers that eat, breathe, drink, everything games, like I had people when I was younger, I had friends for like 5-6 years. I was closer to the people I played every day for hours and hours a day on these games. I was closer to them than I was to people I went to school with. And I've known for years as acquaintances because I talked with them for hours, but I've never met them, never saw their face, don't even know what they look like. I just know I've just been around them. So that's what these people are. But let me ask you a question. What if this game decides to have an event, a live thing that people can travel to? These gamers are not likely to attend a church function or to attend a local community event for the youth or something. But if the game did an event, do you think they'd want to come and meet their friends in person that they feel comfortable with? That is their comfort zone. So in like manner, as we're creating a community for young people to be connected with online wherever they're at, these live trainings are going to be like an event that people who are in contact with each other all throughout the year, they would love to meet in person and make more meaningful relationships, and then strengthen their social skills, and then like a fire take it other places.
That is cool.
It's really cool.
That's strength.
That is strength. And that's actually how I met most of the closest friends in my life, is through this model that I'm teaching you guys, because I've been producing videos on YouTube. I met Claudia's family because we had YouTube videos we put on DVD and we sent it over to Claudia. She found us online, asked for the DVDs, we sent it to her. And same thing with Kathy and her late husband. They got a hold of our DVDs and they called us on the phone. I didn't know what they looked like, but we started talking that way. And
Got the DVDs, and then we went online.
yeah, they got the DVDs and went online. And Kamran I met because there was someone from his church that was watching my videos, and they invited me to speak at their church. And when I got to their church, I got connected there, and then I was invited back. And when I came back, I met Kamran at that event. But it's all being traced back to the Leaves of Autumn. It's the publishing, it's the modern publications that are connecting people, and these digital connections create real life interactions. And it's like Tina is like a very close friend with Renelle, and they're like knit close together. I met Renelle because of a Facebook friend request. Her father was watching my videos for years, and I'd asked him, do you have any prayer requests? He's like, pray for my children. I prayed for his children for like 3 years. And one day she sends me a friend request, and I'm like, LeBlanc? I'm like, that sounds familiar. Where do I know that last name? So I go to Facebook, I look up the name. Oh, Armin! I know Armin! And I'm like, wait a second, Renelle. And then I click on his profile photo, and I go to the next one. I saw this Christmas photo of him, Renelle, and her brother. And I'm like, that's her! She's the one that I've been praying for all these years. I'm like, whoa! And she sent me a friend request. We started talking, and instantly I tried to connect her with all the young people community that I knew. And I was at a school in Oregon at the time teaching missionaries, a lot of these things. And then she got connected. She started working online as a virtual volunteer, working towards like repurposing some content or just like being a part. And then because of that connection, she ended up coming to California in person, and she met other people. And so these digital connections became real life, and now she's like one of the closest people that I know. It is amazing.
That must be true because of Diana and John, a girl that Diana was talking with on the internet. She's moved here because they've never met face to face, but the lady's actually living with them, trying to find a place to live. So she's actually moving her whole household just so she could be next to people she met online.
That's so true.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's happening.
It is happening. This is a way. I won't say the way, but this is a effective way that God is reaching souls in these last days. Just like with Diana and John. And it's amazing. Most of Pastor Smith and I's interactions before coming here were over the phone. If it were not for those phone calls that we were having, I likely wouldn't have came here, and he probably wouldn't even have invited me at the time. But that, though we met in person, the phone calls just kind of connected us further and developed that relationship. So this is a way we can stay relevant in the young people's lives during the year, and then really through all of our programs we're bringing them to this so we can come together, make it physical. Yeah.
It's all love.
So these are this is what we're looking at. What I want to do is put together 3 to 5 OKRs, objective key results, big picture things that we can accomplish in a year. And I'll be honest with you, I'm not exactly sure which one to choose. Yes.
I like these programs actually because that's the only way I can reach my goals, right? So, I'm a mover and a shaker.
Yes.
So, I don't think way far out. A date was already thrown out to me in March by somebody else. And if we could have content together for t-shirts to be at the event, locally, we'll do local. We got the Roxy, I have keys to the Roxy. So if we are ready to go, we could work on goals, deadlines. If we have the big goal right now, just to have the first live meeting one, it would cause us to put pressure on all those other areas what we want to give to them by that date. That would be like a deadline for the first small one. First small objective being it not a monthly but a quarterly. And so with the quarterly, it would help us to get the weekly and the monthly. We would be able to break it down into what has to be done in order to reach that goal. That's an idea. Just an idea. Just thought I'd throw it out there. But I would think at that first one, we'd want to have literature, somewhat a table set up of literature. We want to have T-shirts. We want to have to present the basic. To me, that would be the first step. My whole goal would be to invite people that are in leadership in the town. I was thinking this while you were talking, to invite the people that do have ministries, but they don't know how to find a platform to get it out there. This would be a good place for them to come and to have the basics shared with them so they can get joined up with the subscription and to be able to start hitting the websites, to equip them to go into those categories, the 3, or just to start them at the first one. This is where we're at. We don't need to know about the other 3 yet, the other 2, but just at the first one, this is what we're going to do so they can start teaching people how to have Bible studies, teaching people they can use that platform to teach all those basic things that you're going to be teaching in that first window that we're talking about, the beginner. That's something I could throw out there. And then the process, we can also be working on those other big, huge 3 steps like the intermediate, the
intermediate and advanced?
Yes, we can, those things are going to take time. Like you said, there's a lot of information to get to those people, and you've been working on videos and different things, but that would be a good way to do it quarterly, and this way to really push us to fill in the schedule for the weekly, the monthly, to whatever we have to have done by that date. The good deadlines really will push us.
Deadlines are powerful.
When I want my house to really come together and get projects done at my house, I invite people over to my house, so it causes me to finish my woodworking projects, my cooking, my cleaning, and everything gets done by that date. Because and then I have to prioritize everything to get it done because I know everybody's coming. So it helps me, it puts pressure on me. I work better under pressure.
Yeah, I do too.
So it's an idea.
Yes, I like that. I'll put some into perspective. Is we had a goal to launch a subscription program by October 22nd to try to do it in a week, and we ended up doing it by December 5th. So that took about a month and a half to put that together, and because in order to do this, there was a level of we had to put together the resources, but the sales funnel too. The funnel that I know we didn't talk about, but the funnel is kind of mapping out the journey from the person going who's never heard about the program, creating some of the content to build awareness around it, and then leading them to this course, this mini course, and then leading them there. But we had to have like a sales page that's a canvas that kind of lets them know what they get when they join, and then having to put that together. It was a learning curve. There's a lot of learning curves involved here, and that took some time to try to put together, and go ahead.
You have this platform already set up. So in order to get the subscription, say that you were doing that, what if it would have been like this? Okay, I'm putting this subscription together. Who's called? Who has gifts? And have them like, maybe you already did that, I don't know. And pull like 5 people is usually the core, always, whenever you're doing brainstorming. And things come together a lot faster when you're brainstorming, because then people can go do that work, that can do that work, and it all has a bigger picture done with smaller energy, less energy, because they've taken the load off it, whereas only 2 people are doing it.
Be like the weekly team sprints.
And the team, when they're working on it and you come up with a deadline, each person has a different thing they're really good at, and it's not work to them. So nobody's being taxed, nobody. But the energy level, just like electricity, the energy level is greater with 5 versus 2 or 3. So knowing what their gifts are in that one that's wanting to work on doing a subscription, if you cast what we're looking for, I need 5 things in order for this subscription thing to go forward. We need this, this, and this, and this. Can anybody help me with that? It could be even online. And people come out of the woodwork, and you will have all the information, and they will even take up the cross in some areas and do it so it's done in a quicker, faster way, because I believe that's what I was leading in my college class. Not to try to build a symphony, but the symphony's already there. You just have to have the conductor.
Yeah, we need. Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. One of the challenges that I was facing was part of it is like, as a conductor, the conductor still understands some of the principles. Doesn't mean that they're like doing they're playing every instrument, but they understand kind of like what's needed. I wasn't exactly sure what was needed for a subscription program. There's still some that had to be learned through that. I'd love to hear your input, but let me continue. And like creating a sales funnel and the video, the videos assets, it's kind of it was hard to find people who understood these things, and even still today, like even reliable people. There's one person who's moving up from California to Idaho so that they could work together with us, Herzel and Karima, and they understand some of these things more advanced. Andrew, who's here, Andrew Kirkus, he understood some principles here too, but it's people who have these skills already. We gotta pray for these individuals to be able to be a part of the team, and see the vision of wanting to come. And but then the people who we are working with, a lot of this is a steep learning curve to us to try to figure out what that looks like. So that was the learning curve, or like when trying to say who would be interested in learning or who would like to try to do that, one of the greatest objections I found was people like, I don't know how to do any of that.
Right.
And what would you do in a situation like that?
Well, I would think, because if you have that big of a window, even if you only have 45 people that you had a window with, I would think that if one person says, well,
what do you mean by a window with?
Window, I think of your platform that you're on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, your window, that's I call it your window.
Okay.
Reaching many people have many different gifts. So saying, hey, could you get this information to me? Because you can't, you're only one person, you're only one energy. But you can say, well, this person says, oh, well, I know a little bit about this, and I know a little bit about this, and I know a little bit about this, and then you're trying to put it all together, right? But what if you go to that little group and say, hey, could you work with Sally, Nancy, and Tom, all four of you to get together next week so I can get back with all you guys, and I need all this put together. Could you guys do that? They will love doing it because their mind's already open to that kind of stuff. And that will even stretch them, and they'll be working together, and they'll grow faster, stronger, faster, because they have more energy than if you're trying to get this information and this information and this information. You're drained yourself. Once again, you're starting a new business. Each time you do that, you're starting a new business. Does that make sense? You're starting you're having to study all that and trying to put all the information together. It's too much. It's too much for you. So the thing about it is if they get it all together and bring it to you and say, okay, we got it together for you, here it is.
How would you find a group of people that have the mindset like that they want to do that?
Okay, so you're doing a podcast, or this cast thing that you're doing that everybody's watching right now. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how many people have subscribed, but even on Facebook, say if that's your platform, I don't know where your platforms are. If you said, hey, I'm putting together a subscription thing, if you know anything about subscriptions, please let me know, and just get their names only. And say, hey, I have such and such working on it, this person, and you have like 5 people, just say, hey, could you guys get together? I need to get a hold of you next Friday. Can you guys bring
So like
together?
making a public announcement to ask people to be involved?
And not with the Army of Youth, just, you want to know about subscriptions. Does anybody know about anything about those? And then let those people say, yeah, and I know this and this. That's good. You don't have to know any of that stuff. You never have to. CEOs never know anything except for how to run their organization. They don't rebuild Rome. They don't do any of that stuff. So they say, Nancy, Steve, Martha, could you guys all get together, and I need to talk to you next Friday? Could you guys talk this week and figure out how we can get this together? Because each one of them has strong points, each one of those do. And so when you get together with them, it's already done. All you do is like, okay, thank you. We'll apply this to our group. And it's done. You don't have any energy going out. You did not spend your energy. All you did was your one announcement only.
Can I say?
Yeah.
Go for it.
We've done similar things, and people's like, oh yeah, I do the content marketing. Oh yeah, I could do the graphics. Oh yeah, I could do that. But then they fall through, they don't come through for
Ah,
us. And
The reason they don't, I'll tell you what. What date did you give them? Did you give them exactly 1 week? I'll get back with you. People,
Well-
you can't give people time. You cannot give them time. If you give them time, you'll lose it. It's just like the same thing when you're doing marketing. You have to blitz, and when you blitz, you don't give them 4 weeks. They've done forgot. They've got busy. Oh yeah, I'll get back with you. No, say, oh great, we have a meeting coming this Friday. What can you have done by this date? What can you have done? Okay, I'm gonna call you on such and such date. That's simple. And then if you don't want to get back with them, you have somebody in the group, Tina. Oh, Tina, could you call Nancy and see where they're at on that group? So he's not taxed again. Tina's taxed, which is okay. She don't mind making that one little call because it doesn't make itself foreign to her. All she has to do is find out what day they got it together. It's just a reminder to them. And so now they have a deadline they can work with and they can reach the deadline, but they can't reach it if they have too much time.
Yeah.
They lose it. Is that right?
Makes sense to me.
Okay. That's how you do it. So if you did pass it out there, you can't just call in everybody. It's like, we have a deadline such and such, put the deadline out there for them. Because anybody help me, because we just need just a person that can, if you're into this stuff, if you have this gift, could you call me? And then you can tell the cast the deadline. I need by Friday. Could you work with Nancy, Steve, and Joe and see what we can come up with by Friday? Sure. What's her number? I'll give you their email address. And you guys talk and say good. And then have Tina check back on Tuesday. Hey, how's it going? They only have a week. That's it. That's all they get. They're done. And guess what? That you're at least know where you stand. You're not putting it out there for 6 months from now. That's where your weekly ones that you want done. The weekly falls right under the weekly.
Yeah, it does.
And it can be done in a week. That's not something
I
to drag
agree.
out for a whole month, or 2 months, or 5 months. 1 week. We're done.
I don't know about the entire subscription program, but I could see how like a
portion
funnel or something, if people are really skilled in that area. I don't know, it depends on how big of your team.
Yeah.
Well, do you know what all has to be done for the subscription thing? What all it entails right now? Do you already know the little pieces of parts that it entails?
Now I do.
You do? Okay.
Because we did it.
Okay.
But
that's
it's not yet functional. Our goal was to create an ugly funnel, just like a rough draft.
Uh-huh.
And so we kind of got the rough draft together and launched on December 5th.
Okay.
So it's technically functional, but there's a lot of broken pieces and missing links that we still got to finalize.
So don't you think that there's somebody out there that has already done this and they can do it a lot quicker? Or have done pieces of it and they can do it a lot quicker so it can get done in a quicker manner so you don't use your energy? Because that's a lot of energy for one person to try to find the people. But a platform would give you, that's the whole point of the platform.
Another
isn't it?
situation we have is paying the people right now. 'cause we don't
Paying
have
the
them.
people that will come and give you free information?
A lot of the people that will have this skill are like when you ask like, hey, who knows how to do like the funnel or build a website, or
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, I know how to do this, and this, and I charge $1,000 a month or per project, and it's like, whoa.
Well, we don't
and-
want them.
Yeah, and those are anyone who is skilled. That's often the case that I found.
Response, yeah.
But the thing is, I'm still a little. I like everything you've said. I'm a little confused on how the part of like broadcasting, making the public announcement to them. Because as far as like Facebook, YouTube, podcasts go, those are people go on there to the type of content that is like, hey, we need help. We're trying to do this. Do you know anyone that does that? That type of content does not work on YouTube, Facebook, and Snapchat and things. Go ahead.
Okay, with events, that's what I do, right?
Uh-huh.
Okay, so what you would
Please
do,
share.
I mean, I don't have knowledge of technology,
Right,
as you
right,
know,
right.
so you'll have to.
So we're helping each other.
Okay, so what you would do is
Uh-huh.
you would say, okay, Claudia. Claudia has a bunch of people that you maybe it's not on your page, right?
Absolutely.
So Claudia, send it out to your base, which Claudia's one of your base. Say,
Uh-huh.
Claudia, could you share this with your people? Get this news out there. So she winds up sharing it with them. I'm looking for people that know how to do subscriptions, that have been involved in doing subscriptions, or they have their own, blah, 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 whatever the dialogue is that we want to use. And she says, oh, I can do that. So she pushes send.
Mm-hmm.
You sent it to her, and she pushed it to 2,500 people or 10, 15, I don't know what's on her base. I have no idea. But that right there hit how many people you did it to your whole group.
Right.
So surely out of all those people, one person's going to get back. Oh, Claudia, I've been good at that. Oh, wait, let me get you in touch. There, you got it. Now you've just reached, like you said, you're 20,000 people, and out of 20,000 people, somebody has done that, or has a piece of the knowledge, and you come together and let them, but you have somebody monitor it because you're going to be too busy. You're going to have somebody like Tina or your mom or whoever, check back with them. I need this done by a week. You know, you'll call originally, say, hey, yeah, I'm working on this, I have a deadline. Do you think it's possible? And listen to them. Someone will say, well, I could probably have this all done within 2 weeks. This is what the standard time is. They will tell you because they already know what they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
And then your mom say, you'll say, that's great, that sounds good. Then you call, if it's your mom or Tina, I don't care. You call them back and you say, hey, where are we at? Not towards the end. You stay on target, like the first 3 days. Hey, well, ask them ahead of time. This is the first key that you ask them. What do you need to reach that goal? You don't want them, it's not about money. What do you need? And they'll say, well, we just need somebody to call such and such for us. It's like, oh, okay, well, is anybody here in the group that can call such and such? That's how you do it. And so such and such calls them, and then you're ready to the next level. It will happen, you won't do the work at all. They don't feel like it's work because it's natural for them. Like when I did the event, the last one, I didn't do anything. And everybody that worked there felt guilty because they didn't feel like they did anything. And none of us worked, but it turned out great. And none of us did anything.
Right.
Nothing. Because we were doing what's normal. It's just like, well, that's easy. It's like, I don't even feel like I do. But if somebody else, if I gave that task to somebody else, it would drain them. It would drown them.
Yeah, it's true.
So that's the fastest way to do it. And that would reach thousands of people instantly.
So you're saying record a video of
Yes.
an appeal of what
Yes.
we're looking for, who we need, and then
Yes.
invite key people to ask who do you know that can fill this need, and could you send this to people?
Yep. To your peoples, or however you guys call them, can you repost this to your page or what? I don't know how Twitter and all those different ones work, but could you get this to your group of people? And it would, all those people, and then just, because when they send that same picture, it's going to also say to their people, however.
How do you do that when doing events without the internet?
Without the internet?
Yeah.
Well, like when I do events, I look for my key people, which my key people are people that want to serve the Lord. So I go to different church people, it's like, hey, do you know anybody that's been really wanting to do ministry? And they're like, yeah, I know such and such, he's been trying to do his ministry for years. So that's how I met, like, the Roxy. I went up there and I was like, well, what do you need? And I asked them, what do you need? And they were like, well, we just have this prayer room up here. So a couple of weeks later, God sent me, and he's like, yeah, we're going to sell the business because we can't get anybody to come in. It's like, well, I told you already, I will do your event. You didn't ask for my help, I didn't do it. So do you want my help? And he said, yes. I said, okay. He goes, but I can't get people to come out. I'm like, stop it. It's not your gift, so stop. So I prayed and I said, Lord, who do you want me to talk to? God told me who to talk to. I went to those people. They all showed up. We had a handful, and I didn't have to even deal with any of them. They all did what they were supposed to do. And I just asked them, what do you need from me? And when they told me, I put them in contact with somebody else because I didn't have time to chase the wind, and that was it. So the flyers were all done. I never had to touch a flyer. I never had to touch the kitchen. I didn't have to meet with the Board of Health. I didn't have to do anything. I gave them my license and they ran with it. I didn't have to do anything except for have the meeting.
So you went to the church and you asked people who they know.
Yeah. So all these people on the internet, who do you know that might be good at this? Or you could even say, just post this on there, and people like to help people. People like to help. People love to help. People love helping.
Yeah, it's true. People do.
They do, and they will do it for free.
I'm trying to think of some examples of when I've seen something like that happen. People usually don't post online that type of content, but I do think.
But why can't we?
Well,
so let's be different.
Usually success leaves clues, and you can find if it works, then someone's done it. But that's not always the case, and I'm definitely down to give it a try and
can we
to work
try
it out. Yeah, I think we can.
Because it might help me even. It might even be a base for me at the same time.
Yeah.
Because that's my whole thing is finding people that are good at events. Because I was just praying this on my notes. Mm-hmm. My job is to find key people that want to work with me on my events. Because I could do it, But why should I kill myself?
Right. That's right.
So
So
I will
true.
have my team that helps me with events because I do plan on us going global, like
Yeah.
to these big centers. I don't
Yeah.
believe in just being a little bitty.
The domes.
Sorry, it's just my nature.
That's right.
And I'm not scared of people, and speaking is not a scary thing to me. God has prepared me for whatever He's brought me here for.
God's prepared all of us for
Each
the
of us.
appointed work that we have. That's so true.
And I can't do what any of you people do. I just want you to know that.
I can't do what you do.
Like,
That's
it
why we need
scares
each
me.
other.
But I'm
It's part of the
excited.
body
Me
of
too.
Christ.
No,
It's exciting.
Yeah.
I was just thinking it's almost 12:30. I don't know how long you expect it to keep us.
Can we make that you guys already got your subscription finished, completed?
No, it's
So
not.
why don't we work on that? What date this week do you want to meet? We'll go ahead and start doing the recording. You guys do the recording. I want to be here to watch it and see, give tips and cues or whatever we got to do. Can we do that?
We have
I could be on a weekly agenda.
I thought you were.
I do, but I will. When you love something, it's not work.
that's right.
It's like relaxing. It's like, oh. You got your weekly one, or is it full already?
No, we actually don't.
Okay.
We haven't done those yet.
Okay. Sorry, I'm moving in a shaker.
There is some of the things that I wanted to share. Some ideas that I had on this also is to recognize that one of the goals that we would like to try to do, and I think Kim will be able to share a little bit more, under this Leaves of Autumn content distribution, is to develop a system where we can post 100 pieces of content a day. Because every publication is a seed that's being sown. And the question is, do you want to sow 30 gospel seeds a week, or do you want to sow 100 a week? Do you want to sow 100? How many seeds do we want to be sowing?
What's doable? Who
What
knows?
what is that thing you say that you accomplish little because you
Many accomplish little because they attempt little.
attempt little, yeah.
Yeah.
Who do we know that knows how much is really capable per day? Who knows of that figure that is capable in a day?
Tell her
only-
about the mile.
The only thing that would limit us for doing this is is team. But the thing about this is one of the easiest things that we could do with virtually is with people who come to help with different things and they live in other locations. They're able to take the content and break it down into smaller pieces, and we've got programs to be able to schedule. So you can schedule 30 pieces in a day, and you can schedule it out for months in advance, an entire year in advance, within like 1 or 2 hours blocks of time. And this, what I was thinking, could be one of the a yearly objective, because it's under one of the focuses that we have is marketing and sales, trying to understand how to publish, and then how to lead people to the sales funnel so they can make the decision. That right now our current goal is to have 30 pieces of content a week. Right now we're doing about 14, but over the course of a year, Kim is leading out with a content team, and I really believe Kim is capable of accomplishing this. It's just a matter of working in a way that to see how we can duplicate and document how we're doing it, and then find someone to replace the people on the content team. And then as each person's able to have their role and they're able to focus on that, then they're able to get more pieces of content out. But
The contents is the pieces of the stuff that you're teaching, right? Is that what you're talking about? Like a little clip art, right? Things?
yeah, little clips.
So
Video,
So-
audio,
Well,
written.
it could be written, it could
whatever
be
it
like,
is. But
Yeah.
But so, and who's doing that? What's her name in
Kim.
Africa? Kim in Africa.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Kim has a team that's going to be supporting her and helping her get all that out there. Is
Correct.
that correct?
Yep.
And her goal is for 100 pieces a week,
A day
a day.
by
So-
the end of 2020.
So she's working with the team. And so why did you say you needed to replace somebody that's going to be able to put content in? What does that mean?
Basically is just starting with a core, breaking this down. If you look in the course of a year, break it down to quarterly and monthly and weekly goals in order to accomplish that. And then the individuals who are helping on the content team, in order to reach this, we need to create different types of content, whether it be a social quote photo or an audio clip, audio podcast, audiogram, which is a video from an audiogram, and then articles of different kinds. But there is some people on the team need to be doers and executors, and others need to be experimenting to try to experiment to understand how to take it from one form and repurpose it to another. And those people need to be creating systems to replace themselves so that they can find a person to replace them, and then
And people who's analytic to
Can
analyze.
you and I work on this project, and it'll be goal this week to do one or the other? You said that the subscription thing is almost done or is in the process. It's in, I don't know whereabouts it's at.
Ongoing.
It's ongoing. Well, everybody gets subscriptions ongoing, but I mean the process.
yeah, creating the structure and the frame,
structure
everything.
and everything set up.
Yeah, it's almost done.
Oh, okay. So that you wouldn't really need help on because you've already finished it. Oh,
No, it's not finished.
But I mean, almost finished. So you're probably you don't really need to help it. It's almost finished.
It's an ugly finish.
Oh, in other words, you still need the final part. Okay, never mind.
It's
So
like
you
a
can-
building that's up and it has some basic frames,
It
and
just has frames.
it's like a shell of a building
shell.
Yeah.
But
that
nothing's-
technically keeps you from the elements, but you still gotta kind of put up the drywall
You gotta do all
and
the stuff.
paint and
Yes,
kind of.
Okay, so we're not finished with it. Okay, so then, because I'm getting ready to leave, so I was wanting to know, can I meet with you this week to do an event such as accomplishing one of these goals? So like, if Kim is over in Africa doing this, which is great, if she's doing that, she has her little group. But like you said, there's going to be different pieces of content that's going to be wanting to get out there. Well, that still falls under the same kind of thing as an event. Because when you're doing that, it's the same process duplicated over and over again
Yes,
in
it
different
is.
categories.
It is, absolutely.
So if you and I will master that, then it will work for all the departments.
Absolutely.
So if you and I could work together on
Sure.
this, that would be good. And it wouldn't be a burden to me because it's fine.
That sounds great.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
let's do it. What time do you want to meet?
what day? I in the mornings I can work at 5:30 in the morning to 6. I mean, right in there I can be there, but I need to be gone by 8:30 to go to work by 9. Or I'm not my clearest thinking after 6 o'clock at night because I'm a paper pusher all day long and I'm
Yeah.
exhausted. So morning I'm really clear. So I don't know if that's a good time for you or not.
I could make it work.
Okay, and then we don't have to do it every day. Just one. We need it twice in 1 week because we need the first one, the outline. The second is what we need to finish up to get it complete.
Mm-hmm.
The
Okay.
final, what do you call it? So 2 days is next week. So you call me and I'm available
All right, sounds
for the
good.
week. And you just tell me what day's good for you. Evenings though, I know for one thing, Mondays are always hectic at work no matter what because everybody's coming back from the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
So in that other part, I'm
Yeah.
a little bit better.
Tuesday to
Thursday.
Thursday.
Those are good days probably.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so call me at a time and I'll be ready. And remember, I don't do Facebook too well or Messenger. I do
Yeah,
much better
text.
with. Yes.
Got it.
And
Yes.
thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely.
I'm sorry I have to go.
No worries. Glad you're here.
Hope I don't miss anything.
It's recorded too.
Oh, it's
Right
really
away,
wonderful.
Yeah, I hear you.
Thank you.
Well, that's good. Now, as far as like annual OKRs, we have we were entertaining the idea to have an event. So hopefully we can have we can get the I'm not sure how much time it's going to take. Dinah's very hopeful that it's going to be soon, and I know she's got a lot more experience than I do in some of these things. So I'm excited to work with her and see what she has to share. But one thing that was making sense to me is if we spent a quarter perfecting the subscription program with systems, the critical workflow, then we spent a quarter on the online course to have an online course up and going and figured out, and then we spent a quarter on the live intensive training, and by the end of the year we might be able to get this entire Direction from God, I guess you call it a brand or program, up and going. Then we would have by the end of the year we could do that and have all of this content as the publishing team, as part of the system that's driving the traffic to go through the funnels that people are learning about these different programs.
So you said spend a quarter on subscription?
Quarter on subscriptions, quarter on courses, and quarter on the live training. What do you think, Mom?
I think that's good.
And by the end of the year, have a goal for this. And I see with the stretch goals, we could just break down what will be required to do that. And what I would like to do together is go through systemology. Whoops. Systemology is an online course that's showing how to create systems, because the systems are what's going to train people. So the people, to duplicate. Now, some people are going to be more key to go through this than others, but for those that are watching and viewing, participating live, please let me know who I'm looking for. People that are system champions, who sees the vision and they understand the value of them, and they are going to want to really help to move this forward. Because as I'm going through the course, I'm realizing this is something that I shouldn't be as heavily involved in, but if there could be a system champion that can go, and as we go, I'll explain a little bit more, but it's someone who is excited about systems and they document. They might hop on a Zoom call and just ask a person, can you record? I'm just going to record what you do and explain to me how you do what you do. A lot of people don't realize that they have a system, but we're going to, it might be even a Zoom call that they could just all right, just do what you do and just explain what you do and why you do it. And then recording it is different that's step one. Step two is documenting it, and that's taking the recording and putting it into steps, and that's the written form. But we can go into more detail. This course is showing exactly how to prioritize what are 20% of the systems that's going to create 80% of the results in the organization. So we have a focus and a priority, and I think for one of the included in the first quarter of 2020, we could figure out the system for publishing and the subscription, because the subscription will be the baseline core thing that we're offering people right now, that creates the monthly budget that allows this whole thing to operate in. And as long as we create that monthly baseline, that could set us up for the whole year to be able to consistently exist and give us that opportunity for growth. And this publishing includes a system for the daily live videos and understanding how we record that here, as well as hand it off to the publishing team who's going to apply the Leaves of Autumn repurposing content machine to that. And I think that if we accomplish that as a ministry for now, this will be the beginnings of accomplishing the big picture, is with publishing the subscription and systematizing the core, the critical 20% that gets.
And with the system, it makes things smoother and quicker and more, the outcome is more sure.
Yes, absolutely, it does. And so, Tina, did you get those 3 to 5 that we talked about? Can you tell me what those were?
That.
But did you write it exactly as I have it up there, or did you actually write it?
No, I wrote some more things. Yeah.
Okay, so an objective key result, there's a formula for that
I found it kind of hard to follow everything that was said. Like with Dan, I was talking about. I don't know exactly.
No, I understand. But remember we talked about Lacey, it's important to interrupt. Your notes are the most important thing of this entire meeting, and it's by all means you just want to raise your hand and say, hey, are you saying, and then just so that I know how to write it down, that'll be, go ahead.
The last one, systemology, I didn't exactly get it.
Okay, so in systemology I'm looking for a system champion.
Mm-hmm.
And you have that written down?
Mm-hmm.
That's an actual step.
That's what I did.
Okay.
Put that on there.
I want people in the ministry to, if you think you would be interested in learning more about that, what that entails, come and reach out to me. And with that, we are going to identify what is the critical student flow, like the system. It's basically, what was that? It's basically it's the bare structure, the framework, the 20% of the systems that create 80% of the results of the Army of Youth in light of the subscription program. Taking someone from not knowing anything about us and grabbing their attention with the publishing, and then showing them the course, and it's basically there. Every step required from not knowing anything about us to becoming interested to purchasing a subscription and delivering that, and then coming back. If we could just systematize that core workflow, then that will help us tremendously. That's the most important systems we can develop, is anything revolving from here to here. It's marketing and sales, publishing and sales. Does that make sense? Does it make sense to you, Mom?
Yeah.
How do you think we should write it?
Like the
we're dealing
bones,
with
the bare bones of the system that we need to move to get 80% of the work with 20% of the
systems.
Yeah.
With 20% of the systems, I didn't get the 80% of the 20%.
Well, okay, write this.
20%?
Identify. This is a smaller objections, but it's basically. Don't say identify. Do systemize the 20% of the systems that will bring 80% of our results in the Army of Youth.
Did I understand
subscription
what you said?
program? Yes.
Oh, okay.
That will bring
80% of the results in the Army of Youth subscription program.
It's kind of like that thing where Ellen White's talking about one person can do the work of 10 people, just one person, and it's because of the system they're using to do it. Because we could be doing the same thing, so we think we are, but I'm taking a longer way of getting the same thing done. So you want 20% of what I'm doing, but that would mean you have to have a system for that.
So what do you have written?
To work out.
systematize. I don't even know how to write that. But anyways, the 20% of the systems that will bring 80% of the Army of Youth in the subscription program.
Amen.
It will bring 80% of the results.
Of the results.
What did you put? 80% of the what?
Okay.
I don't know. So that's one of the OKRs that we really need to accomplish. If we do that, that would be huge for everything.
And we have to finish the subscriptions for sure. And we're in the marketing area right now. Yay! And we need to learn that and get that out there. Start pumping it out. Because I think 100 a day is nothing.
Yeah, I got the Leaves of Autumn.
But did you get 100 pieces a day?
Yes, Leaves of Autumn. We want to sell 100 pieces of content a day by the end of 2020. The only thing that limits us is the team. We can schedule in advance. And it says our current goal is 30 pieces a
It's the
week.
team and systems. That's what limits us. Those are some of the challenges in my face, is the team and system. But Kim is going to be working on that. She has an action plan. We're going to have a separate publishing team meeting together where Kim's going to kind of explain what our action plan is to accomplish that. And then we'll get going with that. She's leading out with that.
So I got that. And then I got this spend a quarter on a subscription program, a quarter on online courses, a quarter on a live intensive training. And yeah.
Good.
Like,
Those aren't really.
Are we doing this all day, Dina?
We're doing it for now.
Well, it's just that we've been sitting here for so long without a break or anything.
I know. We're gonna break soon. We're finishing up.
Okay.
So how many is that?
there's 3, right?
That's 4.
What was it 4?
Well, you have it in your notes. What does your note say? I'm not asking you the conversation. I just want to know what's in your notes.
Well, I know you guys talked about an event and talked about things like that, so I need to organize my notes a little bit more afterwards.
Oh, okay.
1, 2.
Were you using the framework the template?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have the actual steps written?
Actionable steps.
Oh,
Okay.
look, it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's pretty neat. All right then. Well, I think we covered a lot of grounds, and I hope that we have a little bit more clarity as far as like where we're going, what we're doing. And I want to appreciate everybody for hanging in there and those who joined us. And we're going to be closing here. And if you have any questions, go ahead.
I was just wondering, are we doing this again?
Doing what again?
What we just did.
Next year?
Is that when we're going to do it?
Yeah.
So are we getting together to do the quarterly too? All
Yeah.
of us who did the annual?
Yeah, the date, Kathy, do you remember what the date is for
The quarterly?
when we're doing the quarterly ones?
I have it upstairs and go look.
Oh, that's what you mean by the actionable steps.
That's okay. I'll pull it up on the battle board.
Okay.
You don't have to go. So, on
The 15th, was it? 12th or something?
we're gonna have the last Sunday of each week. We'll have a weekly sprint meeting. That doesn't necessarily require everybody as much, but that will have some people together. I think the content team should definitely have a team meeting together each week, and Kim is going to be leading that out. There's just different groups or functions or projects. We'll be able to have some weekly meetings where just the people involved will be able to meet together. And we have in January, so the last Wednesday of every month, last Wednesday of every month, and that's 9 a.m. That's an hour before we started. It's 9 a.m.
Is the
Pacific Standard
monthly.
Time.
Yeah, Pacific Standard Time. That's monthly. And then quarterly is going to be in March, but that is the last Tuesday. Last Tuesday at 9. Yeah. And the annual's to be announced, but it'll be on the battle board. I'm looking at the Google Calendar. It's here. And so we're gonna check in to break these down to see what we need to do to accomplish this bigger picture. And we'll be checking in.
Last Tuesday.
And of course, this is only like March, June, whatever the fall. September and December. Yeah. So that's what we're looking at right now. Is there any last question? Tina is going to send us the meeting minutes of what we discussed today, so we can have a visual review of what was discussed, and that way we can refresh our memory to understand things more.
Do you keep that somewhere?
Yeah, we keep the meeting minutes. Just to let all of you guys know, most of you have been watching on the AOY organization YouTube channel. We use that for internal team communication. As you've been watching those videos, we have Kamran and Tina have been taking notes on those sessions or meeting minutes, and there is a database on Notion called Session Calendars, and on the session calendar is where we have the notes for each of these sessions that we have, that you can access those notes as well, with picture of the whiteboard and what was discussed on there as well to complement, because I know sometimes the audio doesn't work on the videos. You got to go to the podcast, watch a video, the screen record, but we got the notes too. So we got audio, visual, and written.
Praise God.
Was there another question? I want to make sure everything was covered.
Does anybody have a question online?
Does Rebecca, Jolene, or Kim have a question online?
Looks good. Oh, here's somebody.
What was that?
I don't.
Oh, you don't. Okay. Great. I think we actually covered everything, except for the last thing we didn't cover is we want to put together a co-porter program so that people can be self-supported through sharing the publications as well. But we'll go into more detail about that at a later time. So praise the Lord, we're able to discuss this. Let's close with a word of prayer. Oh. Would someone like to volunteer to pray for us?
I would.
All right, thank you.
Our most kind Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity that we had to be together. We ask, dear Lord, that you will continue to direct our plans. We thank you, Lord, for what was accomplished and what is being accomplished. We ask, dear Lord, that you will be with each one represented here, that we can continue to work together as a team for your cause. And we ask this in the precious name of our Savior Jesus. Amen.
Amen. I agree. Thank you everybody for joining us on Zoom. I'm really glad you're able to participate. I look forward to our future.